Something genuinely strange happened at the start of May in AI. OpenAI shipped a new model so powerful that the UK government's own safety team ran attack simulations with it and was alarmed. Anthropic built something even more powerful, decided it was too dangerous to release to the public, and locked it away behind a secret program involving Apple, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. China released 4 separate AI models in 12 days, each one costing less than a third of what the American alternatives charge, and at least one of them is already beating GPT and Claude on coding tasks. And then there's the Meta story. The company tried to spend $2 billion buying a Chinese AI agent. China formally blocked it. First time that has ever happened. On top of all of that, a tool launched this week that can replace a model, a photographer, a studio, a video editor, and a music composer. All from one page, all from one conversation. And AI just proved it can detect pancreatic cancer years before any doctor can. This is not a slow month. This might be the most important month in AI since ChatGPT launched. Stay with me. I am going to break down every single one of these stories, what they mean, why they matter, and what you can actually use today. Quick note before we start. I cover AI full-time so you don't have to chase every headline yourself. Let's go. Let's start with the biggest model story of the past 2 weeks, and it is genuinely fascinating. On April 8th, Anthropic did something almost no AI company has ever done voluntarily. They built a model, tested it, realized it was too dangerous to release to the general public, and locked it away. The model is called Claude Mythos Preview. In just weeks of internal testing, it autonomously discovered thousands of previously unknown software vulnerabilities across every major operating system and web browser in the world, including a 27-year-old bug in OpenBSD that nobody had ever found. The Bank of England's governor warned that Anthropic may have found a way to crack open the entire cyber risk world. The European Commission tried to get access. They were turned down. The model is now restricted to a small group of trusted partners through a program called Project Glasswing, which includes AWS, Apple, Cisco, Google, JP Morgan Chase, and Microsoft. Anthropic committed $100 million in usage credits and $4 million in open source security funding around it. 2 weeks after that, OpenAI responded. They shipped GPT 5.5 on April 24th and called it, without much subtlety, the Mythos Killer. Here is what the independent benchmarks actually show. GPT 5.5 leads on agentic computer use, terminal automation, financial research tasks, and complex mathematics. Claude Opus 4.7, Anthropic's publicly available model, leads on software engineering and tool orchestration. Google's Gemini 3.1 Pro leads on price, speed, and academic reasoning. For everyday ChatGPT and Claude users, what you can access today is already extraordinary. GPT 5.5 is available now on ChatGPT Plus, Pro, Business, and Enterprise. Claude Opus 4.7 is available across all Claude products. Both are among the most capable tools in human history, and both are available to you right now. The race is tighter than it has ever been, and it is getting faster every 6 weeks. The first time China has ever blocked an inbound AI acquisition. For 4 years, Meta and Mark Zuckerberg have been chasing the AI leaders. And when you're losing a technology race, sometimes the fastest move is to write a check. So Meta tried to acquire Manus AI, a Chinese-built AI agent that has been quietly outperforming both ChatGPT and Claude on a wide range of real-world tasks, for a reported $2 billion. China's National Development and Reform Commission formally blocked it. This is the first time China has ever issued a state-level prohibition on an inbound AI acquisition. They were not about to hand one of their most capable tools to Silicon Valley. So what exactly is Manus AI? Forget chatbots for a moment. Manus is an agent. It takes actions, not just answers. It browses the internet, writes and runs code, builds websites, manages files, and completes complex multi-step projects entirely on its own. You give it a goal, it figures out how to achieve it, while you sleep. The same company also just launched something called Cloud Computer, a dedicated machine in the cloud that runs your Manus bots and scripts 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your laptop shutting down stops nothing. Your digital worker just keeps going. The fact that Meta was willing to spend $2 billion on it tells you exactly how seriously the industry takes this tool. 4 models in 12 days, and none of them cost what you think. Here's a story that barely made headlines in Western tech media, but it should have. In a 12-day window, 4 separate Chinese AI labs released new open-weights coding models. ZAI released GLM 5.1, Minimax released M2.7, Moonshot released Kimi K2.6, and DeepSeek released V4. All 4 land at roughly the same capability ceiling as the American frontier models on agentic engineering tasks, and none of them costs more than 1/3 of what Claude Opus 4.7 charges. Kimi K2.6 ran a 12-hour continuous tool use trace porting an entire inference engine to a programming language called Zig. Minimax's debut featured their own model autonomously running 100 rounds optimizing its own internal structure. These are not toy demos. These are serious capability signals. The US export restrictions on NVIDIA chips were supposed to slow China's AI development. According to NVIDIA's own CEO, Jensen Huang, that policy has largely backfired. China's share of NVIDIA's AI accelerator market has dropped to zero, but domestic companies like Huawei and Cambrican have rushed in to fill the gap, accelerating China's own chip development. The intended slowdown may have turned into an unintended acceleration. Last year, OpenAI spent $6.5 billion acquiring a hardware company called IO Products, founded by Jony Ive, the designer who spent 30 years at Apple creating the iMac, the iPod, the iPhone, and the iPad. The man whose hands shaped what modern technology looks like. The device they are building together is reportedly pocket-sized, screenless, and powered entirely by AI. No apps, no display. Just a device that is always aware of your context and acts on your behalf through pure AI interaction. Sam Altman has described it as more peaceful than a smartphone. He says people will be shocked by how simple it is. Their target? To ship 100 million units faster than any consumer hardware product in history. The complication? A startup called IYO filed suit this week, claiming OpenAI stole trade secrets, and a federal court issued an injunction temporarily blocking OpenAI from using the name IO for the device. The most anticipated gadget in AI history is now in a legal fight before the public has even seen it. Zuckerberg tried the Facebook phone. Bezos tried the Amazon Fire phone. Both failed. But neither of them had Jony Ive, Sam Altman, and the full force of the world's most advanced AI behind them. This one is different. xAI, Elon Musk's AI company, just launched Grok Imagine Agent Beta. And the launch itself set the tone. The entire demo video was generated inside the tool itself. The presenter, the scenes, the movement, the music, all AI. Here's what it actually does. You get an infinite canvas, like a Figma board, except this one can create everything inside it. Images, videos, posters, storyboards, ad campaigns, short films, all on one page, all inside one conversation. You never have to leave the canvas until your project is finished. 3 real use cases, not demos, actual work. Use case. 1. Product advertising. You sell something. A t-shirt, a candle, a skincare product, a food brand. Normally, a proper Instagram ad requires a model, a photographer, a studio booking, a video editor, and a music license. That is thousands of dollars and days of back and forth. Instead, drop 2 basic product photos into Grok. Ask it to generate 6 different models wearing your product in vertical format. Pick your favorite. Ask it to generate 5 more angles of that same person, consistent face and style, different poses. Then ask it to turn that into a fast-paced Instagram video with transitions, movement, and music. Done. In minutes, for free. If you sell anything online, this tool changes your marketing economics entirely. Go try it with your own product right now. Use case 2, short films and storyboards. Ask Grok for 3 short film concepts with character descriptions and poster imagery. Pick one. Ask for a storyboard. Ask for a teaser. It generates 5 detailed storyboard frames and a 10-second cinematic teaser, with music it chose on its own. Most AI film tools force you to choose between images or video. Grok delivers both on the same canvas. Use case 3, world building and concept art. Ask for 6 fantasy world concepts, each with an infographic showing geography, inhabitants, economy, flora, and fauna. Then animate one. What comes back looks like something from a professional game design document. For writers, game designers, children's book authors, or anyone who needs concept art, this is extraordinary. I want to pause the product news for a moment because this story deserves to be told more slowly. Mayo Clinic researchers published findings this week showing that AI can detect pancreatic cancer years before a human doctor would be able to diagnose it. Pancreatic cancer is one of the deadliest cancers in the world, partly because it is almost always caught too late. The 5-year survival rate for late-stage diagnosis is under 5%. The AI system, trained on large-scale patient data, identified patterns in routine medical scans and tests that precede the cancer by years, patterns that are invisible to the human eye. This is not a research paper about some distant future capability. This is a working system being validated at one of the world's leading medical institutions. If it scales, it will save hundreds of thousands of lives per year worldwide. 1. Adobe Insight. Claude. Creative work. Without switching apps. You can now use Adobe Firefly and 50 creative tools directly inside Claude. Drop in a photo, describe what you want. Retouch it, turn it into an Instagram story, resize a landscape video to vertical. And Claude uses Adobe's library to make it happen without leaving the chat. Also works with Blender and SketchUp for 3D work. 2. Gemini now creates actual files. In your chat, Google's Gemini app just added the ability to generate Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, PDFs, and even Excel and LaTeX files directly in your conversation. Upload your notes, say, create a study guide as a PDF, and it is done. No copy pasting, no reformatting. This one is genuinely useful for students worldwide. 3. GPT 5.5, prompting guide. Stop writing. Prompts. The old way, OpenAI published an official guide specifically for GPT 5.5. The key insight: stop giving the model step-by-step instructions. Instead, define the outcome you want, set the model's role and personality, and let it choose the best path. Detailed instructions actually narrow GPT 5.5's search space and produce stiffer results. Short prompts that define the goal outperform long procedural scripts. 4. Lovable goes mobile. Build apps from your phone. The vibe coding platform Lovable launched its mobile app. Describe an app idea, cue the prompt, and the AI builds it autonomously while you do something else. You get a notification when it is done. Everything seamlessly continues on your computer. Welcome to building software from anywhere. 5. Salesforce goes headless. AI agents as the new interface. Salesforce announced a headless architecture that exposes its entire platform through APIs, so AI agents can access data and workflows without a traditional user interface. This signals a shift toward what developers are calling agent-native software, where AI agents are the primary way users interact with software, and the graphical interface becomes optional. 6. 11 Labs launches. 11 Music, 11 Labs, the company behind the most realistic AI voice generation on the market, just launched 11 Music. Create original tracks from lyrics, melodies, or mood prompts. Remix existing songs by changing genre or tempo. Grow an audience. Earn when your music is streamed. It is Spotify, SoundCloud, and a recording studio combined in one platform. 7. OpenAI. Breaks. Free from Microsoft Azure. OpenAI and Microsoft renegotiated their historic partnership. Microsoft stays the primary cloud partner through 2032, but OpenAI can now offer its products and services on AWS, Google Cloud, and any other platform. For businesses and developers outside the United States, this means real flexibility in where you deploy AI tools, which affects cost, speed, and data rules in your region. 8. Notebook LM fixes source chaos. Google's Notebook LM just added auto-labeling and smart categorization for research notebooks. If you have more than 5 sources, the AI reads them, identifies categories, and organizes everything automatically. You stay in control and can override any suggestion. You can also add emojis, which is small but genuinely makes dense research notebooks friendlier to navigate. Let me leave you with the numbers that most coverage misses. Meta just announced AI capital expenditures of $115 to $135 billion for 2026. That is nearly double last year's spending. Even after the Manus deal was blocked, Zuckerberg is betting more money on AI than the GDP of most countries. AI-driven traffic to retail websites grew 393% year over year in Q1 2026, according to Adobe Digital Insights. Shoppers arriving from AI sources are converting into purchases at a rate 42% higher than those from paid search or email. ChatGPT Enterprise users are saving 40 to 60 minutes per day on average, and heavy users are saving more than 10 hours per week. That is more than a full working day every 7 days. Claude Code, Anthropic's coding agent, doubled its annualized revenue to $2.5 billion between the end of last year and February of this year. And for the first time in history, a major U.S. law firm faced a court sanction this week after submitting a brief containing 20 AI-generated hallucinations presented as real legal citations. Courts across the country have now issued over $145,000 in sanctions against lawyers for unverified AI filings in Q1 2026 alone. The opportunity is real. The risk of using these tools badly is also real. The difference is understanding what you are working with. That is why you are here. And that is what this channel exists for. Every week in this industry now feels like a month used to feel. This week alone, a model so powerful its own creators decided not to release it. A countermodel from OpenAI designed to be the public answer. 4 Chinese models that cost a fraction of both. A deal that a government blocked, a device with no screen, a canvas that replaces a creative team, and a quiet medical breakthrough that could save hundreds of thousands of lives a year. Here's the thought I want to leave you with. The companies and individuals who will win over the next decade are not necessarily the ones with the most money or access to the biggest models. They are the ones who understand what these tools actually do and who use that understanding consistently, week after week.